secret report circulates quietly in Harare. What it reveals about Mnangagwa's next move.
A confidential political report is quietly circulating in the corridors of power in Harare, a document so sensitive, so explosive that senior government officials are reportedly reading it behind closed doors, away from prying eyes, guarded by silence and fear.
At the center of this growing storm is President Emmerson Mnangagwa, whose political future has once again become the subject of intense speculation as Zimbabwe edges closer to 2028.
The leaked document, whose contents have now spread through diplomatic circles, business elites, and the top tiers of SANU, is said to reveal the president's next move, a move that could determine Zimbabwe's destiny for the next decade. According to insiders who have seen the report, it offers a cold, calculated assessment of the political battlefield inside SANU. It claims that Mnangagwa's camp has been quietly crafting a roadmap meant to secure his influence beyond his constitutionally mandated second term. The document points to what it describes as a continuity strategy, hinting at subtle structural changes within the party and government that could effectively keep Mnangagwa, or his preferred successor, firmly in control. Although the president publicly insists he is a constitutionalist who will not extend his rule beyond 2 terms, the secret report paints a very different picture. Senior officials reportedly gathered at State House 2 weeks ago to discuss the document. The meeting, described by one attendee as tense and heavily choreographed, raised more questions than answers. The report outlines various scenarios that Mnangagwa may use to maintain his grip on power, including delaying certain party reforms, reshuffling key ministries, and consolidating loyalty within the security sector. It also warns of growing fractures within SANU, where ambitious factions are quietly preparing for a post-Mnangagwa era, even if the president himself is not. What makes the document even more explosive is its analysis of the deteriorating relationship between Mnangagwa and his deputy, Vice President Constantino Chiwenga. The two men, once united by the 2017 military intervention that removed Robert Mugabe, are now locked in a silent but fierce contest over succession. According to the leaked report, Chiwenga's faction believes Mnangagwa is attempting to sideline him and prevent him from assuming power in 2028, a move that has sparked resentment and deep mistrust within military and political circles aligned to the vice president. Sources claim the report describes Chiwenga as a looming threat capable of destabilizing internal party cohesion if not handled carefully. The document highlights intelligence assessments suggesting that the vice president retains significant support among sections of the military, war veterans, and SANU structures in Mashonaland provinces. For Mnangagwa's strategists, this represents a critical pressure point, one that could erupt if succession processes appear manipulated. But the report does not stop there. It also names businessmen close to the president, individuals who are said to wield extraordinary influence behind the scenes. These figures, often linked to state contracts and financial networks, are described as key pillars in Mnangagwa's long-term political strategy. The document suggests that an inner circle of political financiers is actively lobbying for Mnangagwa to stay on beyond 2028, fearing potential investigations or loss of influence under new leadership. The authors of the report warn that a leadership transition could trigger a wave of political and economic uncertainty. Investors, already jittery due to currency instability and policy inconsistency, may pull back. The document paints a grim picture of potential capital flight, rising inflation, and increased social unrest if SANU fails to manage succession delicately. In the words of one section, a miscalculated succession will not only fracture the party, it may fracture the nation. Diplomats based in Harare are reportedly monitoring the situation closely. Several embassies have obtained summaries of the report, with one Western diplomat noting that it confirms what we have suspected, that the succession question remains Zimbabwe's greatest political risk. He added that the alleged internal maneuvers, if accurate, could derail reform efforts and further alienate Zimbabwe from the international community. Perhaps the most revealing part of the report is its prediction of Mnangagwa's likely move. It suggests that the president may publicly maintain a neutral stance on succession while working privately to strengthen allies in strategic institutions. These include the judiciary, parliament, the ruling party's Politburo, and provincial party structures. The aim, according to the document, is to ensure that any future leader remains loyal to the Mnangagwa legacy and protective of his political and business networks. Yet, the report also notes that Mnangagwa's camp is concerned about growing public dissatisfaction. The continued economic hardships characterized by high prices, weak salaries, and crumbling public services pose a threat to SANUAF's legitimacy. The authors warn that if living conditions do not improve significantly before 2028, the ruling party may face its toughest electoral challenge since 2008. The report even suggests that certain reforms may be introduced not out of political goodwill but out of necessity to regain public trust before the next election cycle. However, analysts caution that the document may itself be part of a larger political game. In Zimbabwean politics, leaks are rarely accidental. Some believe the report was deliberately allowed to circulate to test reactions, intimidate rivals, or shape public opinion. If true, it means Mnangagwa's next move is not simply described in the report, it is being strategically disguised through it. Meanwhile, senior SANUAF officials have refused to comment publicly on the circulating document, but insiders claim that the party is increasingly divided behind the scenes. Some members support Mnangagwa's continued influence, arguing that he brings stability. Others believe it is time for generational renewal and are pushing for a younger, more modern leadership style. A small but growing faction insists that Chawinga should take over in 2028 as originally expected. As the report continues to circulate quietly in Harare, one thing has become clear: Zimbabwe's political landscape is entering another period of uncertainty. Whether Mnangagwa intends to step aside, or orchestrate a controlled transition remains shrouded in secrecy. But the leaked document has exposed the battles happening behind closed doors, and the stakes have never been higher. For now, the nation waits, watching, listening, and wondering what Mnangagwa's next move will be.